Since we're done with that, we're going to talk about how I'm getting a care package from Robert Frank.
Yeah, is that like a thank you for the podcast? What happened?
No. So if you guys check out on my Twitter at Amos Joe, you'll see there's a little video I put. I kept it unlisted because I didn't want to like show up on the channel. Someone could see it. Just it's gonna look weird. But I caught the caught Robert Frank doing like just a random stream all by himself, and he did a little giveaway. And I answered, and I guess I lucked out and got like the easiest ones, because his questions have gotten harder with each stream he does. He's pulling up, it's usually easy questions, and then like the video clip one where he does the audio clip, it gets really obscure.
Or unless it's Kaylee's panty color, which is, that's just a shot in the dark, really.
Not going to comment on that. But you get these interesting, takes. He's giving these questions. So I called in once, and he, picked me. I called in, answered all the questions right, answered the audio clip, which was Dan Bilzerian saying, if you don't like Veg Pro, he'll suck Robert Frank's dick. Interesting stuff.
No, Robert Frank will suck your dick if you don't like it.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, someone's dick's getting sucked, and
somebody's dick's getting sucked.
It's getting a little gay, but so I won that, and then he got my address. So Robert Franks knows, he knows where I live if he wants to, beat the shit out of me.
Beat your ass till you get to the gym.
Yeah, he just shows up and drags. That'd be a video. He like shows up, takes me out of my apartment, drags me
drags you to the gym.
Go to the fucking just sitting in the passenger seat, and you know what I drive? I drive this, small car, and just imagine him in there, just like screaming at me in the passenger seat. Go to the gym. That'd be a really funny video. We'll have to send that to him, but. Sent that, and then of course that led up to last week. We had Robert Frank on the show, which we had a really awesome talk. He got to, we got to ask some interesting questions that he doesn't usually get asked on shows.
No, we were definitely not politically correct, which is what we wanted, because he does a lot of interviews. He doesn't get these kinds of questions, which I thought is what made the show pretty special.
Yeah. And I'm glad I'll totally be honest. Like, my first question was a complete, like, just shot in the dark. I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, I get this bad habit at times when I'm doing the stream. I'm like clicking at other things while people are talking. And then like, I realize you're like, waiting for me to talk. And I'm like, so Rob, how's that sweet tea? Like, and he's looking at me, how's that sweet tea? And I'm like, oh God. And then I'm like, I just asked the man in the most obscure like way that he's obviously called his pee like sweet tea, because he's had some like.
You want to explain that a little bit, because not all of our listeners would know.
So,
the Glorious House of Gainz podcast.
So in the Glorious House of Gainz podcast that Robert Frank hosts and created, he talks a lot about not a lot. Every now and then he talks about his health. Like, people care about Robert Frank and his health. One of the weird things was he kept saying, like, because of all the stuff, all the tren, all the creatine, all the whatever else he takes, his piss comes out as sweet tea color, like this dark brown, which usually is either like dehydration, some type of, saltiness, whatever. Something's not quite right with the chemical balance in his body. Now, he just kind of rolls with it, and, he never said in the show if there was pain or whatever, but I just, my brain just, sweet tea, and then and then he's like, oh yeah, and he kind of had this like awkward like, okay, let me find myself. I just got asked how my piss is looking, kind of talked about it, and then we kind of smoothed it out from there.
I mean, my first question was, how's the trend? Right? Because there was another interview that he did a while ago. It was around the time he was supposed to do the show with us, but it kind of fell apart. And he said he went on the interview and he was surprised. I think maybe it was a bodybuilding something. And he was surprised nobody has ever asked him whether he's actually taking the steroids or not. Now, I mean, I'm a Patreon to the group and stuff like that. And he does talk about, some of the gyno, which is like a side effect of steroids. And he's made a couple of those other types of other types of points. So it's like, well, I want to be the guy to ask him on a podcast, like, how's the trend? Like, are you on the steroids or not? But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Are you hearing that? Are you hearing the noise? I've got a noise coming through on. Okay, then you're not. That's good.
No, we're good.
It's Facebook messages going ga-ding, ga-ding, ga-ding in the background. So I want to make sure it's not coming through.
Yeah. No, we're good. Yeah. It's a bad idea when we're both so active on social media, especially someone like myself.
Hope the notifications are turned off.
Oh, they are. I mean, we'll just say I could scroll, like every moment I'm scrolling, there's just more notifications. This is how big this job of mine is, Excellent. Heavy is the burden. But yeah, no, I think it went really well. And what was awesome was, he was really laid back. He was, not really, we didn't really get him to do any Robert Frank. He just,
I completely slipped my mind because we ran out of time, basically.
Which is fine. I mean, I don't know if maybe we should book a Cameo to get an audio clip of him, sponsoring the show. You never know.
He wouldn't do it for the show because that's commercial. But we could maybe get him to do something, and we could just have it as an independent clip on the page, thanks for having us on the show and stuff like that.
If you don't subscribe to no, I don't
know. We'll message him. We'll message him on we're in touch with him. We'll find out if he could do a spot. I don't mind paying, what is it, like 60 US,
30, 60 bucks or something. Yeah, it's worth it.
We'll chip it in.
Had him on and we talked about a lot of different things, like asking him about, okay, what's it like to know Dan Bilzerian? What's it like at his house? And different things, the parties. And I even asked a very interesting question, because you always see pictures and videos of Dan Bilzerian in his home gym that's outside. And I'm like, how does that all get protected? Does he have guys that are bringing them all in, putting them all out every day? And he goes, no, they're out there. Some of them have rust on them. And he goes, yeah, they go bad. He throws them away and gets a new one. I'm thinking, that isn't the epitome of fuck you money.
Yeah.
And then he has his own product line. He has pretty much his own models for his product line. Ignite.
There's no shortage of girls for Ignite.
Yeah. Because they all want to get on there. I think I remember when he was first launching it, and he was recruiting girls to do that, and it was just a lot of you wear all the things, you get on there overnight. That's the big thing too.
Subscribers on Instagram instantly.
Becoming porn stars, or just probably just banging it out on OnlyFans or whatever. And so and there he talked about that, people he's seen there or he's known that has been to these parties that everyone's been to, Robert Frank, he's friends with Dan Bilzerian, but Dan Bilzerian is having parties for all these other people. Yes. That here, it's like here's Rob, and then here's Dan, and they're cool friends here. And then, I'm doing a little hand motion here. And then there's a step above that is all these other A-list, I think he said Elon Musk showed up, but then he never met him because he was they put him in a separate room.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun to hear all that. And then of course there was a little bit where he was talking about I think we asked about collaborations.
Yep.
That was pretty cool to hear about, kind of hearing his side of how he feels about collabing with people. He's done some of it, but he doesn't do a lot of it recently. I think, what was it, just because, the clash of personalities is just not what he wants to work with.
Yeah, when you have two creative people, sometimes, as we say, there's too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing, and they bump into each other and stuff like that. And he described that as being one of the issues.
And it was good too. It wasn't because some of the people that he said he's collabed with or done videos with are very polarizing characters too. Some of them.
Who would you say is a polarizing character?
Jake Paul?
Michael Trapson? Oh, Jake Paul. Some people, I mean,
the Paul brothers are both very polarizing as just internet celebrities. And then what's good, what I liked is, and again, it's similar to how he approaches politics and just current events, is he doesn't really take much of a side. So, as much as someone as polarizing as Jake Paul and Logan Paul, or maybe some other people maybe he's encountered or something, and he's probably had a good full exposure of kind of that world of, social media influencers and such.
Yes.
You don't really hear him say much about it. I mean, he'd probably say something like, if you hung out with him, but you're never going to that's never going to leave a conversation or something. But
of course,
he's really like, for how like sometimes he'll be doing something on like, computers or doing he'll kind of like do the whole like the self-deprecating, like, I don't know any of this shit in order. But then when it comes to certain things, he's very professional and really smart. But he's good at like maintaining a brand and sort of this icon that doesn't bleed into areas where he could lose fans and, sacrifice fans for certain, ideas.
Exactly.
The whole
which is the smart thing of being a celebrity, right? Because
the
minute you take a side on it, you're gonna lose half your audience. And he's not political, as he said in the interview. He doesn't know anything about politics. And it's not really his beef either. But what I you really touched on was the idea that he can't have an opinion outside of the shtick that he's doing. And he gets really upset. Like, if he did make a comment about politics, everybody would jump on him and be like, no, I don't want you to talk about that. Just entertain me. Just make me laugh.
And he doesn't even give some divisive take. Like, he's just talking about like reopening his state because he wants to go to the gym. I think that's pretty well within his shtick of like of character and the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a political view from the lens of Robert Frank as a character, which is fine, but people kind of like take offense to that because apparently quarantines are a divisive issue.